I never thought a single yes would change so much. But that's the funny thing about choices. You think you're just agreeing to something small, something harmless, and suddenly you're standing on the edge of a cliff, staring down into a life you never imagined. My name is Daniel, 26 years old. By day, I'm a junior graphic designer at a modest advertising firm downtown. The kind of guy who blends into the background at work, quiet, efficient, not one to make waves. I sit behind my double monitors all day, shaping logos and adjusting color palettes, the kind of invisible hand that makes someone else's campaign look brilliant. To most people, I'm ordinary. My colleagues probably couldn't even tell you the color of my eyes if asked. And maybe I liked it that way. Or maybe I was terrified of being noticed for the wrong reasons. Because I carried a secret. Not the kind of scandalous secret that gets splashed across headlines, but one that curled in my stomach like smoke and made my heart hammer whenever I thought about it too long. Since my teens, I'd had a fascination with women's clothes, the softness of silk, the shimmer of lipstick, the quiet power a pair of heels could hold. I never fully explored it, just small moments when I was alone. A shirt borrowed from laundry, lip gloss left on a counter. Little experiments I told myself were harmless, private curiosities. But that curiosity never really went away. It grew, quietly, like ivy creeping along the edges of my life. The only person I was afraid of disappointing, or worse, losing, was Emma. Emma wasn't just my girlfriend. She was the person who'd made me believe for the first time that maybe I could have something real. We'd been together for almost 2 years. She was smart, funny, the kind of woman who walked into a room and made everyone turn their heads. Not because she tried. Emma had this unshakable confidence, like the world bent a little in her direction. And then there was me, careful, cautious, always trying to make sure no one looked too closely. Our relationship worked, though. She teased me for being old man boring, but she also said I grounded her. We shared a tiny apartment on the 3rd floor of a creaky old building, the kind where the pipes moaned when the heat came on. It wasn't glamorous, but it was ours. Half-broken coffee table, peeling paint, and all. Nights were usually quiet. Me hunched over my laptop. Emma sprawled on the couch grading papers. She taught English at a local high school. The two of us trading sarcastic comments until one of us fell asleep mid-sentence. But in the corners of that life, I kept my secret. And here's where the story really begins. It was a rainy Friday night when Emma made the suggestion. We'd been out to dinner with her friends, a group of women who always made me feel like an outsider. They laughed loud, told stories that seemed to sparkle with drama and energy. I'd smiled politely, sipping my drink, adding the occasional nod when someone turned my way. Emma, of course, thrived. She always did. Back at home, she kicked off her heels and collapsed onto the couch with a sigh. I sat across from her, loosening my tie, trying not to look as drained as I felt. "You know," Emma said, glancing at me with that mischievous grin that usually meant trouble, "you'd make a pretty cute girl." The words hit me like a jolt of electricity. I laughed, because what else could I do?
What?
Where did that come from? She shrugged, eyes twinkling. "Just a thought. You've got nice skin, good cheekbones. And if you wore the right outfit, maybe some makeup," she trailed off, tilting her head. "I bet you'd surprise yourself." I tried to brush it off, but my chest felt tight. Because the idea wasn't foreign to me. It was something I'd secretly wondered, something I'd almost craved to know. But coming from Emma, it felt dangerous. "You're ridiculous," I muttered, hoping she'd drop it. But Emma didn't drop things. Not when she sensed a crack to pry open. "Come on, Danny," she teased. "It would be fun. Just once. For me." There it was. A challenge disguised as a joke. A test I didn't know how to refuse. I wanted to say no. I should have said no. But the words stuck in my throat. Instead, I felt something shift, a strange mix of fear and thrill curling through me. And that's when I said it. "Okay. Fine." 2 little words. I agreed. And in that moment, everything started to change. The apartment around me seemed suddenly smaller, charged with possibility. Emma sat up straighter, her eyes gleaming with a curiosity I'd never seen before. "Really?" she said, half surprised, half delighted. You'll do it. I nodded, though my pulse was racing. My mind screamed at me to take it back, to laugh it off. But deep down, some hidden part of me wanted this, wanted to see what would happen if I stopped hiding, even just for a night. Emma leaned forward, already plotting. This is going to be so much fun. And as I watched her excitement, I realized my quiet, invisible life was about to collide with the part of me I'd spent years burying. The storm outside rattled the windows, rain streaking down the glass. It felt like the world itself was holding its breath, waiting to see what I would become. Emma didn't waste a second. As soon as the words left my mouth, she sprang up from the couch with the kind of enthusiasm she usually saved for winning debates or finding a new book series to obsess over. "You have no idea how long I've been waiting to try this," she said, disappearing into the bedroom. "Wait," I called after her, my voice cracking slightly. "How long you've been what?" But she was already digging through the closet, hangers clattering against each other. A nervous laugh bubbled out of me, but it quickly died as I realized this was real. I had agreed. I had just invited the one person who mattered most to peel away the layers of the secret I'd guarded for years. Part of me wanted to run, to take it back. But then she returned, her arms full of fabric, and the decision was no longer theoretical. Emma dropped a pile of clothes onto the bed with a grin that was equal parts playful and serious. Dresses, skirts, silky blouses I'd seen her wear on nights out. They cascaded over the sheets in a rainbow of fabrics. My throat tightened. I stared at them like they were contraband. "Well," she said, placing her hands on her hips. "Pick one." I froze. The air felt thick, like the room itself was holding me in place. The sight of her clothes, her world, her femininity, laid out for me felt like standing at the edge of something irreversible. "Emma," I started, but my voice cracked. She softened, tilting her head. "Hey. You don't have to if you don't want to." But the way she said it, I knew she hoped I would. And beneath my fear, there was a spark of something else, a hunger I didn't want to name. My hand trembled as I reached forward. My fingers brushed against a black dress, soft and cool under my skin. I'd seen her wear it once at a dinner party, simple but elegant, hugging her curves in a way that made me stare longer than I should have. Emma raised an eyebrow. "Good choice. Classic." I swallowed hard, my pulse hammering. "I don't know if I can." "You can," she cut in gently. "Trust me." The next few minutes felt like a blur. Emma was in motion, directing, choosing, laughing lightly to ease the tension. I stood stiffly as she handed me the dress, my mind buzzing with questions I didn't dare ask. "Go on," she said, gesturing toward the bathroom. I took the dress, clutching it like a secret. Inside the bathroom, I locked the door behind me, my reflection staring back from the mirror. Just me, Daniel, in slacks and a button-down, looking like I always did. Average. Safe. I held the dress up to my body. It was heavier than I expected, the fabric sliding like liquid through my fingers. My heart pounded so hard I thought it might shake the walls. Slowly, clumsily, I undressed. My shirt hit the floor. My pants slid down. And then I stepped into the dress. The sensation was indescribable. Cool fabric whispering against my skin, the snugness as I pulled it up and over my shoulders. It fit differently than I thought. It clung in places, loosened in others. I fumbled with the zipper, cursing under my breath, until finally I managed. I turned toward the mirror. And for the first time, I didn't see just Daniel. I saw something else. Someone else. A flicker of a person I'd always wondered about but never dared to confront. My chest tightened. My throat burned. There was no denying it. I liked what I saw. A knock startled me. "You alive in there?" Emma's voice was teasing, but I could hear the curiosity laced underneath. "Why, yeah," I stammered. "Well, come on out. Let me see." My palms were sweaty, my knees weak. I wanted to stay in the safety of the bathroom, alone with this strange, new reflection. But my hands reached for the doorknob anyway. When I stepped out, Emma's eyes widened. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she broke into a grin. Oh my God. Wow. Heat flooded my face. I looked down, suddenly aware of how exposed I felt. The dress clung in ways I wasn't prepared for. But Emma's reaction, her astonishment, her delight, sent a strange thrill through me. Don't look at me like that, I muttered, shifting uncomfortably. Like what? She teased. Like you're pulling this off way too well? I rolled my eyes, but my heart soared and sank at the same time. Pulling it off. That was what I'd always wondered. Could I? And now I knew the answer was yes, at least in Emma's eyes. But Emma wasn't finished. Oh no, she said, wagging a finger. The dress is just the beginning.
Sit.
We're doing makeup. My eyes widened. Emma, no. Yes, she insisted, already pulling out her makeup bag. You agreed, remember? And trust me, you'll thank me. I sank into the chair, my nerves jangling. As she leaned close, applying foundation with practiced strokes, I caught my reflection in the vanity mirror. Each brush of color softened my features, reshaped them. Her eyeliner made my eyes look larger, brighter. A sweep of lipstick turned my mouth into something bold, unfamiliar. Every stroke was a revelation, and a risk. Because while Emma worked, I couldn't stop the questions crashing through me. What if she saw too much? What if she realized how much this meant to me? What if I couldn't go back to the way things were before tonight? The thought terrified me. And yet, under that fear, another truth pulsed louder. I didn't want to go back. Emma stepped back at last, studying her work. There, she said softly. Look. I turned to the mirror again. And this time, the stranger was gone. In their place was someone I couldn't deny, a woman staring back at me with trembling lips and wide, astonished eyes. Me, but not me, I gasped. My chest felt like it might burst. Emma's hand squeezed my shoulder gently. See? I told you. My reflection shimmered before me, blurred by tears I hadn't realized were forming. I was beautiful, and that terrified me more than anything. The night was far from over. The storm outside still raged, wind whistling through the cracks of our old windows. Each clap of thunder made me jump, afraid the world might see what we had unleashed in this small apartment. As Emma rummaged through her jewelry box and pulled out a pair of dangling earrings, my phone buzzed on the nightstand. A text. From my boss. My stomach flipped. I looked at Emma, at the dress, at the makeup still drying on my face. And suddenly, I realized this secret wasn't safe anymore. Not even tonight. MMA was practically vibrating with excitement as she clipped the earrings onto my ears. They swayed delicately, brushing my neck in a way that made me shiver. There, she whispered, stepping back to admire me like an artist with a finished canvas. Now you're starting to look like her. Her, I echoed, voice shaky. She smirked. The woman you could be. The words sank into me, heavy and intoxicating. A woman I could be. It was a thought that had haunted me for years, lurking in the corners of my imagination. And now, staring into the mirror, it wasn't just imagination anymore. Emma pulled a shoebox from under the bed and slid it toward me. Last touch. I lifted the lid and froze. Inside, nestled in tissue paper, was a pair of black stilettos. My pulse quickened. No way, I muttered, backing slightly. I'll break my neck. Emma laughed. Please. I'll teach you.
Come on, Danny.
Trust me. Trust her. That was the theme of the night. With trembling hands, I picked up the heels. They were lighter than I expected, but the slim heel looked impossible. I slipped my foot in, feeling the tight grip, the strange elevation as the heel clacked against the wooden floor. Stand up, Emma ordered. I wobbled immediately, grabbing the dresser for support. She giggled. Okay, baby steps. I took a hesitant step forward. The sensation was bizarre. My calves tightened, my posture shifted, and suddenly I felt taller, elongated. Vulnerable, yes, but also strangely powerful. Emma's eyes sparkled. Oh, you're a natural. Look at you. Her praise lit a fire in me. I took another step, then another. My movements were clumsy, but with every step, a strange sense of rhythm clicked into place. It was like slipping into a song I'd always known but never dared to sing. "See," Emma said softly.
Told you.
The mirror reflected someone I barely recognized. Makeup glowing under the warm lamp, hair pinned back, dress hugging curves that weren't really there but almost looked like they were, and those impossible heels clicking against the floor. I tilted my head, watching the earrings swing, and for a second, I forgot about Daniel entirely. But the illusion shattered with the buzz of my phone again. Emma frowned. "Ignore it." I picked it up, my stomach nodding. Another message from my boss. Panic ripped through me.
Zoom. Camera on.
No excuses. My hands shook as I typed back. Emma raised an eyebrow. "What's wrong?" I showed her the screen. "Oh," she said, a flicker of mischief crossing her face. "Well, you better hurry then." "Hurry," I hissed. "I can't show up like this." She tilted her head, lips curling into a sly smile. "Why not?" My blood ran cold. "Emma." "I'm kidding," she said, though the sparkle in her eyes said maybe she wasn't. "Relax. Just change back. But don't wipe off the makeup yet. I want to see how fast you can switch." Her words stung, but I nodded, already fumbling with the zipper of the dress. My reflection in the mirror looked back at me with wide, panicked eyes. The woman I'd just met, vanishing too quickly. I barely made it. 10 minutes later, I was on the Zoom call in my old hoodie, hair a mess, praying the makeup wasn't too obvious under the dim light of my desk lamp. My boss droned on about color palettes and deadlines, oblivious, while I sat frozen, terrified that the slightest shift would reveal the foundation still clinging to my skin or the faint shimmer of eyeliner around my eyes. When the call ended, I exhaled so hard my chest ached. Emma leaned against the doorway, arms crossed, watching me with that unreadable expression. "You liked it," she said finally. I swallowed. "I don't know what you're talking about." Her smile widened. "Oh, you do. I saw your face." I turned away, heat crawling up my neck. The storm outside had quieted, but inside me, the thunder hadn't stopped. I paced the living room in bare feet, the dress still lying across the bed like an accusation. Emma perched on the couch, studying me. "So, what's the big deal, Danny?" "It's just clothes. Just makeup." "Why are you acting like you've committed a crime?" "Because it wasn't just clothes. It was the truth I'd never dared to speak." I sank onto the couch, burying my face in my hands. "You don't understand." "Then make me understand," she said gently. My throat tightened. The words clawed to get out, but fear choked them back. What if she judged me? What if she walked away? But Emma didn't push. She just sat there, waiting. Finally, in a voice barely above a whisper, I admitted, "I've thought about it. Before. About what it would be like. To dress up. To look like someone else. Like a woman," she finished for me. I flinched. But then I nodded. Her hand slipped into mine, warm and steady.
"Danny."
"That doesn't make you broken. Or weird. It just makes you human." Tears stung my eyes. For years, I'd carried this secret alone, convinced it would destroy me if anyone knew. But here she was holding my hand, not letting go. And that's when I realized something terrifying. If I let this go further, if I let myself dive into it, there was no way back. Later that night, when Emma had gone to bed, I stood alone in the bathroom again. The makeup was smudged, my reflection half woman, half man, caught in the in-between. I should have washed it off. But I didn't. Instead, I touched my cheek, tracing the contour she'd drawn, the faint shimmer of lipstick still clinging to my lips. And I whispered to myself, barely audible, "I don't want this to be just tonight." The weekend should have been ordinary. Quiet mornings, coffee mugs, Emma grading essays while I tinkered on my laptop. But everything had shifted since that night. The dress still hung at the back of our closet, hidden but alive, humming like a forbidden secret every time I glanced at it. Emma hadn't stopped teasing me. At breakfast she smirked, "Pass the syrup, darling," dragging out the word as if I were still in heels and lipstick. When we passed each other in the hallway, she'd whisper, "Careful, Your walk gives you away. It was playful, but every word carried weight. Each joke was a reminder of what we'd unleashed. And me? I couldn't stop thinking about it. The memory of the dress, the heels, the reflection that wasn't just Daniel, it haunted me. I'd wake up sweating, heart pounding, because in my dreams I wasn't me anymore. I was her. That Saturday afternoon, Emma cornered me. "Tonight," she said simply. I looked up from my laptop. "Tonight what?" "You're dressing up again." My chest tightened. "Emma." No arguments, she cut in, her tone firm but playful. "I've already picked everything out." I opened my mouth to protest, but the truth was, my pulse quickened with something dangerously close to excitement.
She saw it. She always saw it.
Hours later, I stood in front of the mirror again, but this time it wasn't just the black dress. Emma had gone all out, a red cocktail dress, tighter than anything I'd ever worn, paired with sheer stockings that slid like water against my skin. She styled my hair with a cheap wig she'd borrowed from a friend who did theater, curling it until the brown strands fell in loose waves around my shoulders. The effect was staggering. I looked complete. Not a man fumbling in a dress, but a woman standing on trembling legs, staring at her reflection as if meeting herself for the first time. Emma circled me like a sculptor admiring her creation.
God, Danny.
"If you walked into a bar right now, no one would recognize you." Her words sent a shiver through me. No one would recognize me. Part of me thrilled at the idea. Another part panicked. What if someone sees? I whispered. Emma tilted her head. "Then they'll just see a beautiful woman. Isn't that what you want?" I froze. Because I didn't know the answer. The night was supposed to be harmless, just us in the apartment, a private experiment. But fate doesn't care about plans. At 8:30, there was a knock at the door. Both of us jumped. Emma glanced at me, wide-eyed. "Who's that?" I don't know." My heart slammed against my ribs. The knock came again, louder. "Emma? You home?" It was our neighbor, Mrs. Carter. 60 years old, nosy as hell, the type who accidentally lingered in the hallway just to catch gossip. Panic surged through me. "Emma, I can't." "Shh," she hissed. She pushed me toward the bedroom.
Go. Hide. Now.
I stumbled, heels clicking against the wood as I darted inside and shut the door. My chest heaved as I pressed my ear to the wall. I heard the door creak open. "Evening, Mrs. Carter," Emma said brightly. "Sorry to bother you, dear." The older woman's voice floated through. "Do you have any sugar?" I ran out, and my cake's half finished. "Of course. 1 second." I clutched the dresser, sweat pouring down my temples. My reflection in the mirror mocked me. Red dress, stockings, wig slightly askew. If Mrs. Carter even caught a glimpse of me, who was that? I heard Mrs. Carter ask suddenly. I thought I heard someone else. My blood turned to ice. Emma's laugh was casual, but I could hear the edge in it. "Just the TV. I was watching something before you knocked." My knees nearly buckled with relief. Finally, after what felt like forever, the door shut. Emma reappeared, leaning against it with a grin. "You should have seen your face," she teased. "That wasn't funny." I snapped, my voice cracking. But she only smirked. "Admit it, you loved the thrill." I hated that she was right. The night didn't end there. Later, Emma sat me down at the kitchen table, a glass of wine in hand. She leaned forward, her eyes glinting.
"So," she said.
"Tell me, who are you right now?" "What do you mean?" I asked nervously, fiddling with the edge of my dress. "I mean," she said slowly, "when you look in the mirror, do you still see Daniel?" The question knocked the air out of me. Because I didn't. Not entirely. "I don't know," I whispered. She smiled faintly, almost tenderly. "Then maybe you're someone else. Maybe you should give her a name." My stomach flipped. A name? That would make it real. Too real. But as silence stretched between us, a word slipped into my mind. A name I'd always liked but never spoken aloud. "Diana," I murmured, barely audible. Emma's smile widened. "Diana," she repeated, tasting it. "I like that." Her hand brushed mine, and for the first time, she didn't say Danny. She whispered, Diana. And my heart both soared and broke. Just when I thought the night couldn't get more intense, my phone buzzed again. This time it wasn't work. It was my sister. I froze, the color draining from my face. Emma read the text over my shoulder and burst out laughing. Oh, this is priceless. This isn't funny, I snapped, clutching the phone. She can't see me like this. Emma's smirk softened. She reached out, cupping my face gently. Then maybe she won't. Or maybe, just maybe, she will. Her words lingered in the air, like smoke. And for the first time that night, I realized Emma wasn't just playing a game anymore. She was testing me. The clock ticked louder than usual, or maybe it was just my nerves. My heels tapped against the hardwood floor as I paced back and forth, the hem of Emma's emerald green dress swishing with each step. My heart was racing, not just from the thrill of seeing myself like this, but from the risk that hung over me like a storm cloud. I was supposed to be safe. Emma wouldn't be home until late, or at least that's what she'd said. But time felt slippery now, and paranoia sharpened every sound. The first jolt came when there was a sudden knock at the front door. 3 firm knocks. Too deliberate to be the wind, too casual to be anything official. I froze. Every muscle in my body stiffened, my lipstick-stained lips parting slightly, as if I'd been caught mid-confession. My reflection in the mirror beside the hallway looked back at me with wide, feminine eyes lined with kohl. Who could it be? The neighbor? A delivery? Emma? I tiptoed toward the door, my heels betraying me with soft clacks. I pressed my ear against the cool wood. Hey man, you home? A familiar voice. It was Ryan, my best friend since childhood.
Panic seized me.
Ryan? Of all people? The one guy who'd never let me live this down if he saw me like this? He'd laugh, tease, maybe even tell others. My heart dropped into my stomach. I stepped back, gripping the folds of the dress like it could shield me. Should I stay quiet? Pretend I wasn't home? Another knock. Come on, I saw your car outside. Don't be weird. I ducked into the living room, crouching low like a thief in my own home. Ryan knocked again, his tone shifting. You okay, bro? You sick or something? The word bro pierced me like a needle.
Bro.
That identity suddenly felt so far away from the woman in the mirror staring back at me. The fear of being caught tangled with something else, something dangerous. A rush. A forbidden thrill. My pulse drummed as I considered the impossible. Opening the door just like this.
No.
I couldn't. It was reckless. But the thought lingered. After a long minute, Ryan sighed. All right, fine, I'll catch you later. His footsteps retreated down the path, and I exhaled so hard it rattled my chest. I dodged a bullet. But the scare left me trembling, torn between shame and exhilaration. The true danger arrived hours later. I had just settled on the couch, scrolling mindlessly on my phone while still dressed in the emerald gown, when headlights swept across the curtains. Emma's car. I shot upright, my stomach plummeting. I still had the wig on.
The dress.
The heels. Makeup smudged faintly under my eyes. Oh, God. My hands scrambled uselessly at the zipper on my back. It snagged. No time. The front door opened. Honey, I'm home early. Her voice rang casual, light, unsuspecting. Yet to me, it was thunder. I bolted toward the hallway mirror. The woman staring back at me looked more panicked than poised, lipstick smeared from biting my lip, the dress clinging to me like a confession. I had 2 choices. Hide or face her. Babe. Her footsteps echoed closer. She turned the corner and stopped dead. Her grocery bag slipped slightly in her grip as her eyes widened. For a second, silence. A pause so thick it felt like the air itself held its breath. Alex, she whispered, her voice unreadable. Heat flooded my face. I wanted to melt into the floor. Emma, I can explain. Her gaze swept over me slowly, like she was taking in every detail, the wig's dark waves, the green dress hugging my figure, the trembling hands clutching the hem. You look, she trailed off, biting her lip, her expression shifting into something I couldn't quite place. Curiosity, maybe? A flicker of amusement? Something softer? I stammered. I didn't mean. You weren't supposed to see. Emma set the bag on the counter, never breaking eye contact. Then she stepped closer, her heels clicking against the tile. Every inch she closed between us tightened the knot in my chest. Finally, she reached out and touched my cheek. The shock of her hand, gentle and warm against my skin, nearly made me break down. You actually look beautiful, she said, voice low but steady. My eyes widened. What? I mean it. The makeup, the dress, it suits you more than I'd ever imagined. She tilted her head, studying me like a puzzle she wanted to solve. Were you hiding this from me? Her words were not cruel, not mocking, but they held weight. I swallowed hard. I didn't know how to tell you. I thought you'd hate me. Emma's lips curved into the faintest smile. Hate you? Alex, I don't hate you. I'm just surprised. The relief that flooded me was overwhelming, but it was tangled with something sharper. She knew now. My secret wasn't mine alone anymore. The moment could have ended there, tender and revealing. But fate wasn't finished playing with me. Another knock rattled the front door. Emma frowned. Who's that at this hour? My blood froze. Her eyes flicked to me, then to the door. Should I get it? Before I could stop her, she walked toward the entryway. I darted behind the couch, my breath shallow, panic surging all over again. She opened the door. Ryan.
Hey, Emma.
Is Alex here? He didn't answer earlier, and I wanted to. Ryan stopped mid-sentence, spotting the heels peeking out from behind the couch. His brow furrowed. What the hell? Emma glanced back at me, her expression unreadable, then turned to Ryan with a calmness I couldn't fathom.
Come in, Ryan.
We need to talk.